We're about to tie a one of many. These are called Slender Trout streamers. This one's going to use some UV yak hair, pretty cool stuff, and Pro Sport Fisher components. So let's get started. This is a slender streamer tied on a Pro Sport Fisher nanotube. There's our hook guide there. There's the nanotube. There's our little weight. That's our cone. We'll put it on in a minute. So let's get some nice, really skinny thread. Now this particular trout streamer is actually inspired by some flies I've seen fished for. Let's back up here a minute. You might as well see the real thing here. Put some Loctite in there. Let's slide that back. Oh yeah. No, come on. Show you the real thing. I'm gonna get my thread up on here. This fly, actually inspired by a series of flies, got all kinds of fun things to do. A series of flies I've seen tied and fished for sea trout over in Europe. And I really like the looks of these things. They just look fishy to me. They will cast pretty easily. They will penetrate the water just right. And they've got a really nice, attractive silhouette. They really do. Here we go. Let's tilt that up. Okay, now, how many people have used yak hair? I have. Not a whole lot. Mostly use it in saltwater flies. It's pretty wild stuff. I'm going to actually trim the ends off. I'm going to trim these ends off. See? I trimmed them off. They're translucent. They've got a lot of body. Now I want this to come back a little bit past where my hook's going to be. I want these to spread kind of around the hook. But they're not. But they will. Before I'm done. They'll be spread around the hook reasonably well. Ah! That's what happens when you don't make sure you've got things cut. Think I ever have trouble tying a fly? You bet. So we've got some top and bottom. Let's get a little bit of olive in there too. Here we go. Just a little bit there. Let's put the olive in where we don't have brown. Let's actually trim that off. There we go. These are pretty long fibers, and you can use the whole thing. And if you're tying flies for billfish or mako sharks, you can make about 15 inches long if you want. Now these hairs would never stay in there all by themselves like this. But what we're going to do is we're going to get the help A little bit of Loctite here. And a little bit more thread. Now, we're going to want, we don't have to put flash in here, but I want to put a little bit of flash. This is Peacock Crystal Flash. And I'm just going to get a few fibers. That's more than a few. But let's put some on this side. How would you fish a fly like this? I would be more likely to fish this in running water than in still water. But I think this fish would troll behind a float tube really well in still water. There we go. Got some Peacock Crystal Flash. Now we're going to finish this off with a Sommerlat's brush. It's olive and orange. Got some really nice fibers. It's a little bit denser in the middle. Got some really nice flash in it, but not too much. Going to have very nice. Now, one of the tricky things here is I don't want a bunch of bulk up here, because when I finish this fly off, I want to be able to slip my cone right down to the end like that. So let's carefully wind this on, and it's, of course, it won't wind on edge like you'd like it to. So every once in a while you'll have to turn it around and you'll have to pull the fibers out. And I want to keep an eye. There's my last thread wrap. So once again, we want to keep this fly fairly lightly dressed. So I think this is a, oh, I thought I had 12/0 thread in there. I actually had 6/0. This is pretty tough stuff. I usually use a 10 or a 12. Usually, I often do. When you're using a 10 or a 12/0 with this wire, you have to be a lot more dainty with it, a lot more careful. So, again, I don't want to build up a lot of thread there. A few turns. Whip finish. Trim nicely. Comb out the fibers. I've been watching a lot of YouTube videos on fly tying. Some of them are really, really professionally done. People don't make any mistakes. Everything's picture perfect. I like to provide these as an example of the real world. So I've got a small, actually this is an extra small black cone. Let's see how that goes on there. Ooh, really nicely. Okay, go off camera for a moment. I'm gonna trim the end of the tube, and I'll be right back, I promise. There's that tube trimmed. See if I can reach a lighter. Now, where's my bodkin? Let me get my bodkin. I'm going to want to open this up, make sure it's open. There we go, it's open. There is my Slender Chub trout streamer. We'll put about a size 8 Gamakatsu glow bug hook in there. Could use a 6, could even use a 10. Here's one right here. Ooh, this has red and black grizzly crystal flash. There's that, what that hook's gonna look like in the hook guide. There you have it. Have fun Let's get out there and go fishing.